So a little bit of disclaimer in this video. The information that I'll be putting out doesn't mean that I am devaluing other companies or other agencies. I just want to share my knowledge, and of course to inspire those who want to be seafarer someday. To inspire by showing the possible wages that they'll be experiencing when they'll board an international ship. Good day to everyone. As seen in my last video, I finished my contract and I disembarked last January, and it's been a month and a half already since my disembarkation, and I've been quite busy. That's why I haven't uploaded any content for a while. So I did some trainings for my STCW certificate, and I also prepared my documents to travel here in this country where I am right now. So currently I'm in the beautiful country of the Netherlands. In this video I'll be talking about the wages of seafarers. Ever since I was an engine cadet up to now that I'm a third engineer, I've been mostly in tanker vessels. First in chemical tanker, then to Aframax, now to a VLCC or a very large crude carrier. So primarily I'll be talking about the wages of the crew that is inside the tanker vessel. So first I'll discuss the departments that comprises the crew of a ship. So there are three departments. First is the engine department, second the deck department, and lastly the galley department. So let's start with the galley department. So in the galley department, it comprises of 3 personnel in smaller ships and in ships where they have a full crew, whether it's a Filipino, Indians, Europeans. Most likely they only have 2 personnel in the galley, which is the messman and the chief cook. But for a ship that comprises of mixed crews, most probably there would be 3 personnel in the galley. So the chief cook, the second cook, and the messman. So the wage of a messman starts from $1,000 to $1,500. And next is the second cook, which has a salary from $1,200 to $1,700. For the chief cook, he has a salary of $1,500 to $2,000. So that's it for the galley department. Let's move on to the engine department. Let's start with the engine cadet. So in the engine cadet, they don't have a wage per se because they are not an additional labor when it comes to ship, or should I say they should not be treated as additional labor when they go on board, because engine cadets are supposed to learn everything there is to know in a ship when they board as a cadet. So their wage is not a wage, but it should be an allowance. So the allowance that I had when I was an engine cadet was $450, but I had some colleagues that had an allowance of $200. Some had less, some had more, which reached up to $1,000. So it's really depending on the company and agency on which you applied and which you will work for in the future. I'm just giving a range of possible wages and allowance of a crew in a ship. So after engine cadet, we have the wiper. and his wage ranges from $1,000 to $1,200. Next is the oiler, which has the same job description as the wiper in most ships, but has a higher wage, which ranges from $1,400 to $1,600. Next is the feeder, or the number one oiler, and he has a wage of $1,800 to $2,000. So next up in the engine department, we have the engineers. So for the fourth engineer, or the third assistant engineer, he or she has a salary of $3,000 to $3,500. Moving on, we have the third engineer, or the second assistant engineer, which has a salary of $4,000 to $4,500. And moving on, the second engineer, or the first assistant engineer, has the salary of $8,000 to $9,000, depending on the seniority bonus the company gives, and also depending on the agency and the company. And lastly, in the engine department, we have the chief engineer, which ranges from $10,000 to $15,000, again depending on the bonus that his or her company gives. So that's it for the engine department. For the deck department, let's start from the deck cadet, which has the same allowance as the engine cadet that I mentioned earlier. So the deck cadet, when I was the allowance of my colleague when he was a deck cadet was also $450. But again, some of our friends, our classmates, had 200, some had 1,000, some had 800. So I say again, it really depends on the company which you are in. Next is the OS, or the ordinary seaman, which is the counterpart of the wiper in the engine department. So the ordinary seaman has a salary of $1,000 to $1,300, give or take. Next is our able-bodied seamen, or our ABs, which has a salary of $1,300 to $1,500. Next is the bosun, or the boat's swain, which has a salary of $1,800 to $2,000. And case-to-case basis, some tankers don't have a pumpman, but in VLCCs there is surely a pumpman, because in some tankers they don't have a pump. There are some tankers, especially small tankers with like 30,000 or 15,000 gross tonnage, they don't usually require a pumpman, so their pumpman would be the bosun. But the pumpman in the case of the VLCC has almost the same wage as that of the bosun, which is $1,800 to $2,000. So moving on to our deck officers, we just start with the third mate, or the third officer, and this also is the counterpart. The third mate has the wage counterpart of the fourth engineer, or the third assistant engineer, which usually stands around $3,000 to $3,500. And we have our second mate, or our second officer, which has a $4,000 to $4,500 of wage. And our chief officer, or chief mate, or first mate during the good old days, has a salary of $8,000 to $9,000. And finally, our master, or our captain, which has a salary of $10,000 to $15,000. So that's it for the wages of the crew in tanker vessels. The reason I made this video is because for the past months that I've been in vacation, I've been thinking on what content should I share with you guys now that I'm not on board. And yes, I hope this video inspired some of you who wants to go at sea, who wants to be a seafarer. And as I say again, these wages only apply. This wage, the wages that I discuss is based upon my experience and knowledge in tanker vessels only, because I've been only in tanker vessels. Wages may differ largely when you are in bulk or in general cargo, where when you are in cruise or in the LPG, because different type of vessels have different salary grades, and of course different companies, different agencies also have different salary grades. But yes, that's it.